All right, guys, today we are going way back in the Jordan brand timeline, back when the brand was still fairly new. I believe this was within its third-ish year, around the 1998 and 1999 time frame, and these bad boys are one of my favorites. Hey, what's good, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today I thought it would be a little bit fun to go back into the archives and talk about a shoe that maybe no one remembers or maybe no one wants to remember, but this is called the Jordan Lite. It was part of a small lineup of the Jordan brand products that were available in 1998 and 1999, and I've just always loved these. I thought they had like a cross-category appeal, you know what I mean? Like multiple categories. They look like a lifestyle shoe, but they were actually a performance shoe, and they also look like a skate shoe, which was very popular back in that time frame. So probably the first thing that I'm going to talk about is just what they used to do back then, and that is kind of like piggyback off of the main flagship model. So one of the weirdest narratives within the Jordan brand lineage is that team shoes are trash and team shoes have always been trash. But if that were true, the brand wouldn't exist today because people wouldn't have bought these shoes if they were trash. This shoe, the Jordan team shoes like the Team 1 and 2s, the Jumpman Pros, Jumpman Pro 2s, the Vindicats, the Jumpman Pro Strongs, yada yada yada, all of which were super hot releases back in the day. And I don't mean like people were waiting outside to buy them like they would with the Air Jordan 13, 14 or whatever. I'm just saying that people like me that couldn't afford those shoes bought these shoes. And again, if there wasn't any support for this stuff, the brand wouldn't be existing the way that it is today. So shoes and products like this are what really built the brand, and it's why we have retros and things like that now. But like I was saying, they would piggyback off of the main flagship shoe. So at the time, do you know what shoe was available at the main flagship Jordan?
The 14s.
How do you know this?
Because of the pin.
Okay, smart lady over there. But yeah, so they would actually cross brand with not just the logos, but also the font text and stuff like that. So if you were to look at this shoe and be like, hey, that kind of looks like or is reminiscent of, you'd be right. They started this way back in the beginning. The Air Jordan 12 was the first Jordan branded shoe that was on the shelf, the first one to feature no Nike branding whatsoever, even though they did come in a Nike box. And shortly after the 12s released, the Jumpman Pros released, and you can see here, they look kind of similar. They also featured the same exact tech specs, at least the originals did, not these garbage retros. After that, obviously, came the Air Jordan 13, and even though only one colorway featured this performance logo, which was the Jordan Jumpman with the circle emblem around it, you know which colorway that was on?
Black and red.
No, playoffs. They were still black though, with red. So not all the way wrong. But shoes like this, worn by Eddie Jones, the Jumpman Pro Quick, they also featured that circle emblem and everything like that. They featured the same exact font that you would see at the base of the lace tab on the Air Jordan 13. So I thought that was always dope. Another popular shoe at the time was the Jordan Jumpman Pro Strong. Those are currently actually available right now along with these in like retro form. Not as good as the originals or anything, but they still do have the same exact tech specs, whereas these do not. But the Jumpman Pro Strong was worn by Vin Baker, and that shoe not only modeled its font and logo branding after the Air Jordan 13, but it also looked a hell of a lot like it. That's how I ended up with a pair. Couldn't get a pair of 13s, but I was able to save up enough money for a pair of the Jordan Jumpman Pro Strong. Move over to the following year, that's when these guys released, along with a slew of other shoes. I'm not gonna list all of them, I'm just gonna kind of like quickly go over the ones that I can remember off the top of my head. There was an annual Trunner, there was the Jordan Super Freaks, which were worn by Randy Moss and stuff, so that was actually a really cool model. It had a zip-up enclosure, super sick. It was a turf shoe, not a basketball shoe. Go back to Eddie Jones. We've got the Jordan Swift 6 or something like that. I can't remember what they call these because they changed the name. I think these were called the Quick 6 or something like that. I don't remember. I know that we did a video on these, so if you wanted to know, you could check that out. But either way, same exact branding. They even featured the air scoop right there, the vent system that was also on the Air Jordan 14. The Jumpman Vindicate, which was Vin Baker's second signature shoe. That one was hella cool. That one came in some great team colorways. It was a split design. So you had a toe that was black and then a back panel that was white. And then the team models were flipped where the color was in the back and the toe was white. That was a great shoe. And yes, even in the Jordan 15 era, they did release shoes that kind of look like the 15s or at least borrowed some design cues from it. Again, we're going to use Eddie Jones as an example. And these were those. You see that tongue there? Yeah, you can't deny that that came from the Air Jordan 15. So again, this was just one of the many shoes that were available in the lineup. I think that it's just like so much fun to see stuff like this, the Team 2s and all of that stuff, which are also available still. So yeah, it's like 1998, 1999 all over again, minus these. Now what these actually offered was a lightweight package in a lifestyle look, but obviously you could wear them on or off court. So we had a full length rubber outsole with just herringbone from top to bottom. Like this right here is just amazing. Like nothing works better than this outside of radial. And I just love the that it was there. It was like a no frills, no gimmicks type of setup, and that's exactly what it was. It was a very affordable shoe at the time. They went on steep discount in certain colorways, and yeah, I just really like them. The midsole itself is real interesting because it's a lightweight Phylon midsole. I love the crevices that you see right here in the top or the forefoot of the midsole. A little reminiscent of, say, the Air Jordan 9, you know, the little support teeth that are there. But what those were actually for was for flexibility. So you were able to get this flat midsole into a flexible state. So again, you can wear them on court, off court. There was a guy in my, I think it was like, you know how like you could do PE and then like your second year in high school, you can pick a different PE class?
No, that's not how my school is set up.
You had to do PE freshman year and sophomore year? Okay, so for me, we had to do basic PE freshman year, and then sophomore year you could pick either PE again, or you could do like basketball or badminton, volleyball. Bowling was one of them, which was a weird one because I was like, we don't have a bowling thing like on campus, but they went off campus for that. I obviously picked basketball, and one of the students in there wore this shoe. He was a really tall guy, and he wore the white and navy colorway, so he was a bucket. But anyways, inside of this lightweight Phylon midsole is an encapsulated air sole unit in the heel. There's actually nothing in the forefoot, so again, this was a really affordable shoe. This is one of those ones that when I see them on the shelf, every time I'd pick them up and be like, man, I want these so bad. I couldn't get them, but I really wanted them. The materials are really interesting. It's a mix between synthetic and leathers. The base rand right here is all synthetic, but the leather is the rest of the upper and everything, kind of like a textured leather as well. And again, the design cues kind of pull off of the Air Jordan 14. So if you look at the toe down view, the toe right here kind of is shaped, not identically, but definitely like borrowed from, you see that? This hump right here is right here.
Oh, okay.
So the shapes of the panels and stuff were borrowed. If you want to like a direct like pull, it's the actual tongue right here. So there was no shoes that had that tiny little tongue except for these. A weird thing, but that's what they moved over. And then obviously the logo branding and stuff like that, while it's not on the side of the shoe, they decided to add this really cool pin that was really awesome because they came in different colors depending on the colorway that you chose. So this one right here, if you remember way back then, this logo was actually featured on the side panel of the Air Jordan 14 oxidized green. Why I remember that, I don't know. It's just one of those like little details that I remember. But anyways, these pins were removable. So sometimes you would get the shoe and they'd be missing a pin or both pins. Either they'd get lost, they'd fall off, or somebody would just straight up take them off of the shoe while they were sitting on shelves. Inside the shoe is actually the same exact insole as the Air Jordan 14s as well. So it's a performance-based insole. You got the extra foam pads for cushioning and things like that. It was a really cool setup. It made the shoe way more comfortable than it maybe should have been. And then again, the font branding that you see on the sides are the same if you were to put them side by side with, say, something like the Air Jordan 14. This shoe, I believe, came in 4 original colorways. This is actually my least favorite of the bunch. I never liked this colorway personally. I don't hate them or anything, but it was one of those shoes where if I could pick one, and what I mean by pick one was circle one in the East Bay magazine, never to actually obtain. This would not be one of those colorways. I absolutely loved it. It was kind of like the precursor to the cool gray kind of look, but it was kind of like this light purple. They were like white with the same style mesh right here on the side panel as the Air Jordan 13s. And then there was a straight up white, black, and red colorway, which you guys probably know is one of my favorite looks, period. So I really like those as well. And then the white and navy colorway that I talked about earlier, those ones are stupid fresh as well. I just think that they look really good. It's one of those shoes that obviously can be worn as a team shoe, but you can also take them off court and just wear them with whatever as a lifestyle shoe. But that pretty much takes care of it. Again, I just wanted to kind of take a look back at something that I really love. This is the Jordan Lite. Let me know if you remember these. Let me know if you actually had a pair back in the day as well. What's the question of the day?
My question of the day comes from me being so dang tired. I'm curious as to what everybody does to get themselves going in the morning. Like, is it just straight caffeine with like coffee, tea, vitamins? Are y'all out there raw dogging it with just water?
Is that what we call that?
Yes. Or I don't know if it's because I reintroduced workouts to myself, like starting the beginning of January. So like that wakes me up, and today I don't have a workout in, and so I'm just like, bleh. So what is everybody doing out there?
Well, I do know that working out releases natural endorphins. So that would be an obvious one scientifically. But outside of that, what do you do?
Now that's fresh mountain-grown coffee from the hills of Colombia.
And with that being said, we will catch you guys on the next one. So until then, have a good one.